Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Actually, it's already that day, and welcome to Thrift Stores and Coffee Shops. If you're new, I am your host, Miss Ebony, serving up the VIP topics. And today's topic, I'm your coffee bartender. Today's topic, I wanted to talk about child stars and the industry, whether it's entertainment, music, and the like, because I was actually thinking about a interview I was watching a couple of days ago with a child star that I remember coming up. She was like on Oprah and like Star Search and stuff. The newer version of Star Search back in the day. Remember when Star Search came back out? And I was just listening to her story, and it just kind of reminded me of some stories of other child stars that I've heard of. One of them had been in the industry for a long time, and I think she was like, she was on Disney and like had her own show and all of the different things. But when you watch like the stories behind the scenes or like the unsung type of things, you see what really, really goes on from their childhood up until now. And they'll tell the stories about how they all got started. And it just gave me some insight into how parents have to be more careful with how they present their children in the industry, or how they do deals, or how they, sign contracts or allow their children to be at the forefront at the expense of their children. I think sometimes parents that are so excited get a little too excited, and they forget that they're supposed to also protect their children. And sometimes I think that some parents want the fame more than the children do. And I think about two child stars that were siblings, and they came up in the industry, but I didn't see any I believe their parent managed them too. I didn't see some of the results of child star prodigy gone wrong with them. I think they came up, they did really well. They're doing well now, and they had parents that were selective, but also very cautious about how they wanted their children to be represented. And also, I think their parent just really was very selective on the things that they did, until they got, to a certain point in their life and they were old enough to choose their own, route and what they wanted to do, how they wanted to, whatever gigs or deals that they wanted to, take up. I just feel like you see the end result of parenting that did not go over well when it came to the industry with children, but also that's parents that just allowed their kids to do whatever, and didn't create a foundation that was solid in morale. Now, granted, kids are going to go off and do what they want to do. Everybody makes choices, especially when you get grown. You think you're grown, so you just do whatever. But I feel like there's a certain kind of protection and teaching and training, especially when you're a Christian. You train up your children in the way that they should go so they don't depart from it. But I feel like there's a certain kind of training that you get when you are a child that a parent gives that is supposed to stick, And I just feel like as a parent, I'm not against children being in entertainment industry. I was that kind of child that could just sing, dance, do whatever. And I actually was in a group with my cousins, and my auntie kind of managed us. We were a dance group, and we would go and dance and perform at different places when I was little. But I think there's a way to manage children in a way that you are you're careful, and you select certain things that are child friendly. You know what I mean? You don't take certain deals. And I think there's a way that children should be presented to other children in a positive light, and in a way that is child friendly, not, exploitation or sexploitation, if you know what I'm trying to get at. I think parents should be more cautious of their desire for fame for their kids, and without taking a look and being discerning about what is going to work for them or not. I also was watching a show where the child, she was more so in a teenage age, but she was on one of those little shows, and she wanted to be an aspiring rapper, and she was good. I have to give her that. But I saw how the dad was, because parents were involved on the show. I saw how the dad was kind of like pushing his daughter in a way that I felt like, specifically her being a young lady, like he wanted that for her. You know what I mean? He wanted that fame. He wanted all of that for her. And he was managing her from a young age, and he was pushing the needle and everything because he wanted his baby girl to be rich, to be famous, to be, you could just tell he had that desire for her to be all of that. And I'm just like, this is where you got to be careful as a father, that you don't even sell out or pimp out your own kid. You know, I'm not saying he was pimping her out, but I could just tell. I was like, he was all over this for her. And as a father, I'd want my daughter to be represented her way, representing herself in a way that's not contradictory to the values that I've instilled in her. Now, some parents aren't Christian, and I don't expect every parent to be, just be like, I don't like you wearing that. You know what I mean? Because some parents are okay with that if it comes with the fame. Like, some dads are literally cool with their daughter dressing half naked. Some papas are okay with that if that means it's going to be what sells and what you going to do to make money. Some dads are okay with that. But if I was a father, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be okay with that as a mother. Even if my child got older and was choosing to do something, I would probably more than likely be like, baby, this is not you. This is not how I raised you. I know you get to make your choices, but I personally don't want you to represent yourself, the family, or Christ like that, because that's not who I raised you to be. I wouldn't just be like, you tell me that. There's a way you can talk to your child in a kind, gentle way with telling them you disagree with something and also reminding them of who Christ called them to be. Do you know what I mean? So anyways, it was just to get to that because I just really felt like I wanted to talk about that because it's just something that I've been noticing when I watch certain things, and I'm like, parents didn't protect their kids in this industry, and this is why they are the way that they are. Some of them are, and I'm just like, granted, some made choices, but in the reality is the parenting, some of the parents pimped out their kids. Some of the parents, put their kids as the breadwinner in the family because they were going to make the family money because they didn't grow up with a lot, and now it's your meal ticket. And the same goes along with athletics, all of the things. Like, it goes it's no bounds. It's not just entertainment. You see athletes they're rich and famous, but what did their parents do behind the scenes? You know what I mean? Like, you just never really know. So it's just a call, I think, to the parental advisory board to just be careful how you submit your children into things like that, or contracts that you sign. Really read it, get a lawyer, and understand how you want your child to be represented, especially if you're Christian in the entertainment industry. I feel like there's a lot of children that are lacking in the Christian industry. There's not a lot of animation for kids about Jesus. There isn't. I mean, VeggieTales is one of them, but we need something new created. So this is a call to the creators, let's create some new stuff for the kids. There's not a lot of stuff for teenagers. I grew up in the 90s, so we had everything. 24 hours in a day on TV, we could watch something that was geared towards our age group. So, but now we don't have that. I feel like teenagers don't really have anything but social media, and they watch each other. They watch other teen influencers on social media, and I'm like, what happened to the television? Is there just nothing on there? There's no 106 in Park anymore. Not saying I'm pushing for secular stuff, but we just don't have that for that, the tender age group of K through 12 anymore. There's nothing. It's like everybody's creating for adults now, where the kids, you get lost. And this goes out to the Christian community and Christian networks. I know there's some under fire right now, but let's bring back, things that actually cater to children, that are positive, that are morale, that could be creative, and it doesn't have to be corny. You know what I mean? We didn't have corny stuff when we were kids. Some of it may have seemed to be corny now when we think about it. I was like, that show was kind of corny, but I liked it, But I think we just need to get more creative and, present to children what it is we want. Thank God for Tabitha Brown. She has Auntie Tab's show, and I think it's great for kids. I've watched a couple episodes and I was blessed, but we need more positive reinforcement I feel like in the entertainment industry when it comes to children as well. So it's kind of just my thing. That's all I had to say. Not a parent yet, but I will be very stern and firm and selective on what I allow my kids to do. They may not be child stars, you know, and I don't want that for them if that's not God's plan for them anyway. And I've talked about a little guiding your kids and wanting them to do certain things that you do and all of the things. You can watch that video too. I had a red outfit on. I was talking about it because, you know, I want to guide my children in the direction that God wants them to go because they have purpose outside of me too. So that's it. God bless you. Have a wonderful Monday. Bye.